The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This amendment gives us the means to protect all the other ones. And without it, our unarmed populace would be ripe for the pickings. We would be unable to stop a tyrannical government or an invading country. Not to mention the means just to protect ourselves or the ones that we love. What I do find interesting is that the politicians creating legislation, writing bills, want to take our ability to protect ourselves and to fight off a tyrannical government. But these same politicians are the same ones that walk around with armed guards, Secret Service members, on and off duty police officers, military personnel, armed with fully automatic weapons that they find that their lives are worth protecting, while our lives are basically expendable. And if we had to give up our guns, I guarantee you these politicians wouldn't give up theirs. But these same politicians are also writing the bills and trying to enforce new laws that inhibit us from owning firearms. So let's take a look at what some of these politicians have to say, as they don't even really understand the functions of the items they're trying to ban in the first place. Because it's not about safety, it's about control.
In February, you introduced the Assault Weapons Ban and Law Enforcement Protection Act of 2007. It would regulate semi-automatic assault weapons, including weapons that have pistol grips, a forward grip, and something called a barrel shroud. Weapons with a barrel shroud would be regulated. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate it?
I think the more important thing is that it also would have had banned the large capacity clips that Colin Ferguson had used, and also the killer.
Okay. But I read the legislation. I'm sorry, I read the legislation and it said that it would regulate barrel shrouds. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate that?
The guns that were chosen back in those days were basically the guns that most gangs and criminals were using to kill our police officers. I'm not saying it was the best bill, but that was the best bill they could get out at that particular time. I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is.
Because it's in your
legislation. It's a shoulder thing that goes up.
No, it's not.
To prevent terrorists from obtaining this rifle, and is urging New York State lawmakers to pass the Anti-Terrorism and Aviation Protection Act, an act that the National Rifle Association will likely fight, claiming the right to bear arms.
Come on. This is crazy. You can't certainly use this for hunting. But some of these bullets, as you saw, have an incendiary device on the tip of it, which is a heat-seeking device. So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
Assemblywoman Eddington will introduce the bill tomorrow as part of a weapons package on the floor of the Assembly. Her aim, along with her colleagues, is to get this weapon out of the hands of civilians and limit it strictly for military use. In Garden City, Jackie Lucas, News 55.
And so what I want is a comprehensive strategy. Part of it is seeing if we can get automatic weapons that kill folks in amazing numbers out of the hands of criminals and the mentally ill.
But that would ban most pistols. That would ban most...
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes... Blah, blah, blah.
No, those are fully automatic weapons.
Okay.
Is ban the sale, the manufacture, the transfer, the importation of assault weapons. And it gets quite technical, and I won't go into that right now.
I'm Congresswoman Diana DeGette from the 1st District of Colorado. Columbine's in my district now, and Aurora's right down the street from my house. This week, we can bring to the floor a bill that Congresswoman McCarthy and I introduced some months ago.
I'm not saying it was the best bill, but that was the best bill they could get out at that particular time. I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is. I think it's a shoulder thing that goes up.
No, it's not.
That would ban the types of assault ammunition clips.
Don't try to go for a gun. You've got somebody pointing a gun at you. You think you're going to be able to outshoot them? That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
But some point out that's easy to say for a man who has 24-hour police protection.
When I come in to interview you, I got to go through metal detectors. There are men with guns out there to make sure that you're safe. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the big clip, drum, or strip that is also banned from sale, manufacture, importation, transfer. So it's the clip that enables you to have the firepower.
But what's the alternative to grandfathering in magazines or rifles other than confiscation?
Yeah, well, you could say, well, confiscation could be an option, right?
Yeah.
Sale.
We've never done that before,
Right.
I don't think.
Mandatory sale to the state could be an option.
That's a form of confiscation.
We are going to do this whether you like it or not. And in fact, Connecticut is because of some of their actions.
Part of it is seeing if we can get an assault weapons ban reintroduced.
And that's just a few clips that I found online within a few minutes of doing a simple Google search. It's obvious to see that they don't care about our lives, but they care about their own. So much so that they'll spend $22,000, $43,000, $200,000 on armed security, Secret Service, on and off-duty police officers to protect their own lives. But they want to inhibit or completely ban our ability to protect our own. And another thing that I found interesting is that they feel like police officers and military are so much safer and competent to own firearms, while the American civilian is just unable to utilize a firearm safely. And I understand horrible acts of violence happen, but banning guns isn't going to stop mentally ill people from harming others. You ban guns and people will use sticks. You ban sticks and people will use rocks. You ban rocks and people will use their hands. There is no stopping a person from harming another. Well, there are a few things. One of those, being a good guy with a gun, will stop a bad guy with a gun. But I could do an hour-long presentation on the importance of the Second Amendment and the reasons why I've chosen to be a gun owner. In fact, I haven't always been a gun owner, a Republican, a Christian. I actually used to be a tree-hugging, long-haired, pot-smoking hippie going to a liberal college. But I finally did start understanding why a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and why that was so important.